Hello everyone, Anthony Wilson here, and today we're going to be talking about a deck that I'm sure you've run into if you've been at any tournaments recently, Blue-White Control. Now Blue-White Control is a deck that's going through a lot of changes right now with the introduction of some new cards and getting rid of some other cards. So we're going to take a look at the deck, how it was, and what it looks like now. So here's what we had, this is a couple months ago. That's what the deck looked like. Creature base, all you had was Iona. You didn't have Wall of Omens yet. Cancel is a card that seems to keep seeing some play. Didn't quite make the cut back then. You saw Negate and Essence Scatter mostly, but this deck ran Cancel, which is fine. You also ran Everflowing Chalice and Spreading Seas. Now these are two cards that kind of help the deck through. It doesn't really make the cut anymore. But it did back then. Same with Mind Spring. You're not seeing as much Mind Springs anymore. And very light on the Planeswalkers. Yeah, I know 7 Planeswalkers seems like a lot, but it's very light for what the control decks look like now. So this is what the deck used to look like. Jump over here. This is a little bit down the road. Now, the win conditions here, you have Baneslayer Angel. And a little lighter on the Planeswalkers even, down to 5. With the addition of Wall of Omens, made the deck a little stronger. Also Mana Leak, of course, for early game counter spells, and still running Cancel. Something else we're starting to see as well is Path to Exile leaves in October. After the rotation, we're going to have Condemn. So you're probably going to see Condemn jump up to a 4 of. As well, you can see Jace's Ingenuity has replaced the Mind Spring. Now this is a great card, mainly because of this little word right here, instant. Play this at the end of your opponent's turn, draw 3 cards if you didn't have to counter anything, or if you have the extra mana. So, much stronger than your Mind Springs. Might not draw you as many cards all the time, but the fact you can play it as an instant is what gives it this power. Not seeing any Spreading Seas or Everflowing Chalice anymore, mainly because you're heavier on the control spells. Right here we're running, what is this, 9 counter spells and 5 spot removal, along with the 3 Day of Judgment to keep the boards clear. So you really don't need the Spreading Seas anymore and the Everflowing Chalice for ramp. You really don't need that. It's become obsolete. So here we see the deck without it. Also, what we're seeing is Deprave paired up with other lands. I've been seeing it with Halimar Depths, seeing here Sejiri Refuge, different things like that to help give a little bit more of an edge. Seeing it with more Halimar Depths than I'm seeing it with Sejiri Refuge, but this works just fine. Red deck gives this deck a lot of problems, so this helps a little bit, being able to gain the extra life. Here we have Sun Titan instead of the Baneslayer Angel. Now Sun Titan is pretty amazing because it brings back your Wall of Omens. It brings back your Jace Bellerins, your Oblivion Rings, which we see here. So this gives you more of the card advantage, cutting down the Jace's Ingenuity to 2 and adding Flash Freeze here, more counter magic, more control. So it's getting a little heavier, and here we're seeing it jump up in Planeswalkers, adding Gideon Jora as another win condition. So in this deck we have 2 very powerful white cards stepping in to kind of give the deck a little more oomph, a little stronger kill. The sideboards for each deck are pretty much the same, just interchangeable cards that go from main deck to sideboard, sideboard to main deck. If you look back, some of these cards you're seeing in the main deck now. It's really how you decide to build your main deck. Here we're seeing Gathering Specimens here, which could have been used for anything. I'm not sure what his purpose was for Gather Specimens here, but I'm sure it was helpful. Here we see the Sun Titan again, and we're starting to see the Path to Exiles drop from 4 down to 3. Now we're down to 2. And the Planeswalkers count is jumping up even still. Now we're upping Jace Bellerin to 3. Jace the Mind Sculptor is down 1 to 3. We're seeing more Jace Bellerin because you can return it with Sun Titan. Also, Jace Bellerin is a great way to kill Jace the Mind Sculptor. So, having more Jaces in your deck pretty much helps you helps you in the control mirror. The same spell suit here, pretty much. What we're seeing is Celestial Colonnade is also being used as a win condition. So some of the earlier builds, I think we're only running 3. I could be wrong on that. This one's no, this is running 3. Or running 4, I'm sorry. But Tectonic Edge here jumps up to 4. Whereas back here it was down to 3. Because back here we had Spreading Seas to help take care of manlands and other lands that we were having trouble with. Here we have no Spreading Seas. We have no way to destroy the land. So Tectonic Edge comes up to a 4 of to help get rid of the lands that are giving you problems. You know, maybe you're running into any manlands or the dredge land. So it helps take care of things that are causing problems. Not to mention, if you come up against any deck that's 3 or more colors, it can kind of start messing with their mana base. So it's a great idea jumping up to Tectonic Edge to 4 of to help with the lack of Spreading Seas. Here we have a more modern build. We have no Sun Titan this time. The Planeswalker count jumps up again, adding 1 more Gideon Jura. So this deck I don't believe is as stable as some of the other decks because you're relying heavily on the Planeswalkers. A good way to try to beat this deck, if you want, is to use Pithing Needle in the sideboard to shut down Planeswalkers. Or anything that can shut down a Planeswalker. Because we're seeing here there's no bounce spells. They're relying very heavily on counter magic here to stop you from messing them up. But if you can resolve a Oblivion Ring or a Pithing Needle or anything like that that would destroy or shut down any of these Planeswalkers, it'd be a really great way to try to beat this deck. So I don't know if I agree with the lack of creature win conditions and adding more Planeswalkers. It always seems like a good idea, but you never quite know. So kind of excited to see where this goes here with the Planeswalker heavy build. Here in the sideboard you see the extra Jace Beleren, the number 4. Like I said, it's a great way to beat the Jace the Mind Sculptor. You know, for 3 mana, destroy your Jace. So that's kind of how it's been working here. I've been seeing this a lot lately. So yeah, here in the sideboard we have cards to help beat the red deck. Red deck gives us a lot of problems. So Flash Freeze at 4, Core Firewalker at 2, just to kind of help a little bit with that. So this has been a look at the Blue-White Control deck. I hope this has been somewhat educational, and look forward to my next video. Thanks.